Hello guys and welcome to GA Flying. Today we are in Hawaii and we will be checking out the newest version of the Black Square Caravan, so the one that had its release today. As you can see, this is the amphibious version. There is also like a cargo version that comes in the same pack, and there's a separate pack with the standard passenger version that comes with wheels. Okay. I hope I said cargo version with the amphibian version, but yes, they are together and those are two packs. When it comes to the price, here is what I had to pay. Okay, I did already own the prior version, this analog conversion that was pretty old. And so because of the analog conversion, I got an email with a code that I had to use during the current purchase. And with the code, I got this discount. I also got like €2 discount for like prior purchases at Just Fly. Okay, so if you have bought it in the past, please remember to use your code. It will be together with your prior purchase on this like online shop, Just Flight online shop, together with your prior purchase. Okay, so don't miss this opportunity because as you can see, it's a lot of money that you save this way, right? Okay, when it comes to where we will be flying, so we are in Dillingham, which seems to have a new name, I guess, Kauai Hapai. Okay, seems to be the same. We will be flying over Honolulu, maybe trying a water landing here. I'm not sure. We will see how much room we will have because I would like to try to do it close to Pearl Harbor because there's a lot of like custom stuff there. Then we will be flying over the next islands. Then here there is some really nice like custom buildings and stuff. This area is probably one of the nicer looking. And then we will be landing here. The name is Waimea-Kohala, I guess. Okay, sorry for butchering it. Either way, and here we have the highest mountain in Hawaii and the second highest mountain on an island like at all, right? So this will be interesting. There is also like an observatory at the very top that is nicely modeled in MSFS. But I'm kind of afraid that with the float version that is like very slow, that is very slow to climb, we might not be able to make it up the mountain, right? But we will just see because it's like 13,000 feet high, okay? With this, I think we can go over to this one. As you can see, it looks amazing. And the airport also looks amazing. Both of the airports that we'll be visiting today are custom airports. Both are payware. And both of them I have like bought with a very high discount on some sales, right? And I really like the atmosphere on both of those. It's like this tropical World War II stuff that I so like here, okay? And with this, let me just do the walk around so you will be sure that we will be removing everything that we have to remove. Okay, let's just turn it, turns nicely. Yeah, I'm just wondering how they are doing it like in real life, because this is so high with the like amphibious version. I guess they need a ladder for it because it's even like too far for people standing here. Maybe they go on the wing. I don't know. Okay, so let's go around. There are also chocks here. Okay, so this is the cargo side. I can also show you how it opens. Nice. One important thing is this rudder lock. Okay, needs to be off, because otherwise if you start you won't be able to use the rudder. Luckily there is one like safety feature. If you forget it and will be already in the cockpit, right, you can just pull the yoke to you strongly, right, to aft, so to you, and then it will also unlock. Okay, this works nicely. Can I play with this? No. Okay, this kind of works, so this is fine. And obviously the cover here. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I just love this view. Okay, let's proceed. Yeah, it's a real exercise to go up there. Okay, and now I need this handle here that is not easily reachable. Okay, and let's open the window, because I actually think when it comes to turboprop planes, this has the best sounds up until now. And those sounds are also done by Boris, right? Like the prior ones. Okay. So what do we need? We need the battery. We need the fuel boost to on. This signal is because we need the fuel. Okay. But the important thing is that you cannot keep it open for too long, especially if the ground is uneven, because the fuel will flow from one tank to the other, and then you can get like a fuel imbalance, right? So please keep this in mind. Okay. So battery, fuel boost. When it comes to the ignition, it can stay on norm because it will just work when you operate the starter, right? So you don't need to put it to ignition. Like I've seen many people put it to ignition, but as far as I know, it's not needed. Okay. Avionics 1 just for the radios. Okay, and if you would be using external power and the GPU is also provided, you will also be using this one. Okay, obviously a beacon light. I'm always messing those up. So the description is above the switch, which is easy to forget, okay, because it looks like it might be below. So seatbelt, smoke, and now, okay, so this is the cabin, so this is the beacon. Okay, so mess it up every time. Okay. So the barrel should be already set. It's 30. No, it's not. Forgot it. Okay, so it's 3004. Somewhere here. Okay, so that's some strange settings here. Okay. So prop lever forward, and this is okay. This is obviously the rudder. So now the rudder is raised. So the one for the floats, right? Because we are on normal ground, so we don't need it. Okay, and with this, I think we can start. Let me just double check on the tablet that I didn't forget to click anything. Here you can see how we are loaded. So we have kind of half-ish fuel and a couple of people on board, right? Let me make sure we have failures times 5. So this is what I always like to use in black square planes. Let's hope that we won't get any, especially since we only have like one engine. Okay, so it's not as safe as with twins that I'm normally flying. And with this, I think we can start. So let's just operate the starter. And we need 12% here at RPM. And listen to the sound. Okay. Let's introduce some fuel. I can give you the outside view. Okay, fine. I guess it's more exciting from the inside here. Okay, so this seems to be fine. When it reaches around 50, then you can turn off the starter. Okay, and you also don't need the fuel boost, so put it to norm and then it will be only used when needed. Okay, everything is in the green. Okay, this is fine. I guess I can close it for a second here. Okay, and I do want the generator. Okay, and let's see. Here's the generator and it's above 0. Okay, nice. And the standby alternator. Let me just trip it. Okay, now it turns on and reset, which turns it on. Okay, so it's a backup. It will only turn on when the generator fails. So this is fine. Let's see if nothing is popped. As you can see, a lot of systems that can get messed up, which is always nice. Okay, so now I want the navigation light and the taxi / recognition light. And you can see the load is getting higher, right, on the generator. Okay, let me just see how warm it is, 26, so we can just get some ram air from the front. Not too much because it's getting loud this way. Okay. And the rest of the avionics. One nice new feature is that like the airflow from the propeller is moving the steering surfaces, right, which also moves the yokes. So this is totally new, and this is the first black square plane that has it, right? Okay, so let's prepare the rest. So we do want the inertial separator, okay? And we obviously want to use our GPS because this was in the thumbnail, so it's promised, so we have to do it. Okay. I think this is what turns it on, but it always takes like a minute So I hope it will, yeah, okay. Because at the same time when I'm clicking it, I'm always also dragging, like turning those turn wheels, right? Because I'm never sure what is turning it on. But now I know, okay, it's this one. This is our barrow, which is fine. I can just approve it, okay. Yep. Yes. Okay, so just some safety stuff. In messages, it's the same safety stuff, okay. So now we want to go to our flight plan. Just move, and we have our flight plan prepared, okay. That's saying if you want to create your own, you just need to go, for example, to flight plan 2, okay, and I can show you how it's done. So just a short version, so we won't be investing too much time. So in our case, we are flying from PHDH, okay. So I want to edit it. I click on cursor to be able to use my keyboard, okay, and I just type in PHDH. If I'm happy with the waypoint, I'm just clicking enter, it confirms what it is, and then I'm jumping to the next one. Keyboard is still active, okay. So for example, in our flight plan, the next point is the Honolulu VOR, which is HNL, okay. So HNL. Okay, enter, it's a VOR in the USA and not an airport, okay. So I'm just confirming it, and it adds the next one, okay, and it just continues like this. And once you are happy with it, you are just moving to use, right, to use it. But in our case, we don't want to use it, because ours is already ready. So I created it under flight plan 1, right, and then once it's ready, it's being moved to flight plan, oops, sorry, to flight plan 0. Okay. Okay, and let me just see. And now I can use a map, so some kind of map function, and the standard navigations functions are under nav, okay. And I want both of them active on both sides, because this will give me like a broad picture of what I want to do. So let's move to nav 5, and here also to nav 5. And this way I'm going to this function that gives you this like interactive map, I guess. Okay, so bearing 127, so let's just tune it in. It's somewhere here, and let's switch to GPS. Okay, very nice, and some very nice sounds here. And here I guess 5000, but I will be trying to fly a lot by hand, right? So I will adjust it by myself. It's so loud if you open those. Okay, let's just close those for a second. Okay, and the only thing that is left is the warning that we are in beta, which is fine. Okay, let me just do the taxi checklist. So flight instruments free and checked. Yep, they are. You cannot really see much from here. You would have to lean like this. Okay. And taxi recognition light is here and is on. Inertial separator is this one, it is open. Parking brake will be released. Okay, aligned and water rudder, this one is important, needs to be raised, right, for land operation. So one thing that I think is kind of set is that in black square planes you cannot see the passengers and also cannot see the cargo if you edit. I was never a fan of it, to be honest. I never felt I needed it, but the last newest planes, like from FlightFX, from FSS, had such nice passengers that now I'm missing it, and I wish it would be something that like Black Square would consider in future planes. Okay, obviously that you could toggle them, because I know many people still don't like them. Okay, so only as an option. Okay, let's move the heading back, like always, very slow. This never changes in flight simulation. You are always turning a knob for a minute. Okay. So this stays here. Let me just search for it. It seems fine. Okay. So we can prepare and move to the runway. Once again, I can show you like an outside view, because those are great. Let me just grab a nice one here. It really looks majestic, like on those floats. But it will be really slow. You will see in a second. Like, I mean, the climb speed, so the vertical climb speed is like 700 or something. So like some very small, underpowered GA planes, pretty much. Let me see. The brake is here, and so it's off. Okay, and we started moving. Okay, and now I can open it a little bit because it's only beta range that is so loud. Yeah. I mean, the soundscape of the whole inside is really great. Oh, we're getting pretty fast here. And the dashboard is just gigantic. Yeah, it's like driving a truck. Pretty interesting. Let me just see if I haven't like tripped. No, I guess like the RPM is just too low, maybe. Let me just see. Yeah, now it's off. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, it's a brake. Obviously this goes to flight idle from ground idle, and we want to set up the takeoff trim. Look, 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 look. Rotation speed is 65, but we will probably, because of the floats, like wait a little bit longer to not have like a very sharp takeoff, so we don't damage anything. So landing lights, strobe light, okay. Cabin lights, no. PTOT is not always obligatory, only when you expect icing. Here, let's turn the lights. During the daylight it will probably not help much, but it's kind of seems to be a little bit dark-ish, so let's just use it. Okay, and here you can see nicely those moving, so this new effect that we have here. Okay, let me just take a look outside. Oops, this view is really not adjusted for the float plane version, because you can see the viewpoint is like in a very strange place. Okay, so let me just check the takeoff checklist. Transponder is to alt mode, landing lights are both on, inertial separator as required, so let's use it. Water rudder is up, it is up. Power levers are set for takeoff, and the propeller lever, yes, both of those. Annunciators check and work. Brakes, we will release them. One interesting fact is that the takeoff torque is actually lower than the climb torque. I assume it's because there will be some torque bloom once you start like rolling, right? So you just set it for takeoff and then it will rise by itself. Okay. Okay, and flaps. Did I use flaps? No. So let's talk about flaps. So the standard setting for takeoff is 10, but for short field takeoff you can also use 20. Okay. For this we will just use 10. And I guess I can start. Very nice, very nice. So this airport has been used like for bombers, so it's very long. I mean, it was supposed to use for bombers during the Second World War, but in the end it wasn't, I think. But like it was prepared for them, so this is why we have this long like run-up area. And from what I know, you can take off from it. You are just not allowed to land here, right, on this displaced threshold. Either way, it will be much more like runway length than we will need, like for our use. Okay, and with this, let's just add some power. Okay, let's watch the torque. A little bit more, a little bit too much. And it's always with those turboprops. hunting for the red line, especially in this one, because, as I said, this needs lots of power because of the drag. Okay, and 65, as I said, is normally the rotation, but we will wait a little bit longer. I have seen like most people that fly it, I mean in the sim, use 80. This was unexpected. Looked like a bump in the runway. This is strange. I was like taking off from here like many times. Okay, gear up. Let's gain some speed. Okay, trim. Laps up at 95. Okay, and when it comes to the propeller setting, it can be max if you want to go max power, but there are many settings both for like climb and cruise that just have you reduce it. So we can reduce it slightly, I guess. Let's go here. Okay, and you can see the navigation wants us to go here to reach like the center of Honolulu. So this is also something that we will be doing. Obviously it's like fully coupled, so I could just click navigation right and it would follow it without any problems. And let me just see this one, obviously here. Okay. Oops. Okay, as gear up, this lever only looks strange, always looks strange, but now I think it's fine. Okay, we can get rid of the landing lights. The taxi light is at the same time the recognition light, so we keep it on in this case. Okay, let me try if I can nicely trim it out, so I won't need much input. This would be nice. Oh, and obviously I didn't see that we are over-torquing the engine. Okay. Yeah. You can see, you can feel the pull to the left with this one powerful engine, right? So you also want to trim it to the side a little bit. Again, now it's much nicer. Okay. And we are flying. We can go. Yeah, now it started being windy for some reason. I guess this is because we are going over the mountains here. Okay, so but let's still try an outside view. That is really strange. Okay. Oh, okay. No, I'm not sure. Actually, for a moment I was thinking I know why it does that, but I'm not sure. Okay. So let's just do some sightseeing. After all, this is what the tourists want to do here. So let's keep nice and low. And I will try to find... Actually, we can use the autopilot for a second. So here, okay, so autopilot, nav, and autopilot. Okay, it will try to catch it. I was hoping it won't be so strong because I don't really want to fly into the mountain. So let's just change to heading for a second. And at least now we will be able to enjoy the views. Okay, so everything seems to be working nicely. Just move it here so it will be easier for him to catch. Let's just see what the message is. So this is like an airspace warning that we are entering the airspace of Honolulu, right? Luckily we can just turn them off. Okay, just a second. Let me reduce the power a little bit, and I will show you how. So there's like an options screen here. I think it's set up. Yep. And there's a lot of stuff that you can do. So turn anticipate. So this is where you can change the units, right, for the barrow reference. And this is airspace alert. Okay, so you can just disable it. And there's lots and lots of stuff. Actually, this is one of the best simulated units, GPS units in the sim. And I will also show you some additional functions once we will finish like this segment here, because this is already Honolulu, and this is actually Pearl Harbor, and we will try to land here close to the monuments, close to like USS Missouri, so this battleship that is here, and is also nicely modeled in the sim. Okay. But for a second, let me just reduce the speed a little bit, and we will take a look outside. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this is a really nice picture. And like in general, I think this plane looks amazing, especially the float version. And maybe also because we don't really have another plane, another like high quality plane that would be similar to this. I think maybe the Kodiak. I think there's also like a float plane version, but I think this is a little bit better, right? Oh. Okay, strobe light. Will it pop again? No. Yes. Oh, okay, so it's a real failure. I was thinking it's just like my fingers that click on stuff that I shouldn't do. Okay, let's just prepare for the landing here. We will try to find some water. Okay, let's just increase the RPM, and you will see how easy it is. I was training with the Vilga, because this is pretty much, the Vilga is the only high quality float plane that I own, I think, and it was like lots and lots of fun, but like the Vilga is super tiny in comparison to this behemoth, I guess. So you will see how this will work out. So I did watch some videos of real pilots flying it, and they were pretty much touching the water without any flare, I guess you could say. So they were very flat. The impact on the water was very flat. So you will see how it looks like. But as soon as we just turn on like reverse thrust, we will raise the nose a lot. Or at least this is how it was like on the real life videos. So we will see. I think those are actually two carriers. They don't look very nice. But the battleship here is fully modeled, right? So this is what we will want to see today. And I do hope that if we go back a little bit, the detail level will improve, because now it's kind of, I'm not sure. Okay, so we are getting slower. The limit for the flaps is 120 for the first notch, right? So we should be able to do it without a problem. I can do it now. Okay. Let me just make sure everything is on. Okay. Yeah, and it's nice to have a plane like for ferrying tourists around. This is something that I was kind of missing. And it's a pretty iconic plane, especially for like FS economy users, because I think it was like the most popular plane on the platform for a long time, just because you can pack so many people into it, right? And it's also one engine, so you don't have to pay much for maintenance. It's pretty nice, and it can land almost everywhere, because at the same time it's pretty much like a bush plane. Okay, let me get the second notch of flaps.
Check. Gear is up for water landing.
And we want the gear to be up for water landing. Okay. This is the system that blinks now, and it detects if you are over water or if you are over solid ground, right? And it will tell you. Okay, so normally the approach speed is around. Okay, nice. And this is the USS Missouri, okay? And this is the Pearl Harbor Monument, right? So as you can see, really nicely modeled here. Okay, and now we need the water rudders. We don't use them for takeoff and landing, right? But for maneuvering over water. Here we can see the normally functioning port, so it's not like we are kind of only here for the monument. There is normal sea traffic here. Whoa, okay, let's do an outside view. It seems like adventurous, those. Okay, so the water is sometimes a little bit strange close to custom assets, right? It's kind of not very even, but here it seems to be kind of natural. Okay, let me add some power. And now we should be able to turn. But I'm not sure why I'm being tilted to the side. The same happened like in the air. Did I mess something up with the trim? I don't know. Let me just see. Okay, aileron trim is in the middle. And this trim is kind of in the middle. Nice, nice, nice. So as you can see, we have a very high fidelity plane now that you can like use for water operations, which is great. So the only thing that I'm missing is the paddle that I had in the Vilga, because there you can paddle to the ground, right? You can decide where you like dock, I guess, pretty much, and you can do very small adjustments on the water. So this is something that is missing here. Duh, I'm getting seasick. Okay, so but it was very similar like in the Vilga, that from the inside it feels like a lot of movement, but if you look outside it's like not really that much. No? Okay, so we will be turning here and we will be trying to take off. Flaps are back to 10 degrees, right? This is nice. I might visit Venus with this one. So it's also one of the best made custom places, I guess, in MSFS. The weather. I'm just wondering how the passengers normally tolerate this amount of movement on the water. Okay, let's just turn. Let's hope that we will not flip here. And let's add some power. Why am I being... No, but like that the yoke is even, right? So it's not that it's an input that is moving me to the left. Oh, maybe the weight is incorrect? So we will just check it out in a second. Because I was playing around with the payload, so let's just see. Yeah, I know. Okay, here. It's tilting me to the left. Yeah, I don't know why. Let's add some stuff on the right. Like a professional pilot, a quick fix for the problem. Right? As you can see, you can also add stuff to the floats, and I'm not sure if this is baggage or just like additional weight where you can balance the plane with it. And I think it was not explained in the manual. Okay, either way. Loop, 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 this is fine. Okay, so first, let's just get straight. Let's not fly into USS Missouri, okay? And this was also the battleship where the capitulation of Japan was signed, right? That's really strange, okay? But okay, maybe there is a reason why it goes to the left. I'm not sure why. Okay, so water rudder up for takeoff, and now let's go. It looks terrifying from the inside, but as I said, if you look outside, it's not that bad, right? It looks like a lot of fun. Okay. I think we slowly... It might be because the water surface was uneven close to custom assets, as I said, because I have observed it before, that it was like, well, not totally even, right? So maybe this was what was causing it, because as soon as we left the area around like the battleship, right, it was no longer jumping around and moving to the side. So this might be the explanation. Okay, flaps up, around 95. Okay, and gear is not needed. Nice. Okay. And let's move back on track then. And just the view like this one, so you can also see more. Okay, now we can reduce the propellers a little bit again, and can get rid of the landing lights. Yeah, so a lot of fun to be had. Okay, let's go over Honolulu International. And sadly, it's not custom, right? I was hoping maybe it is, because there is lots and lots of landmarks in the city itself, but sadly not. Yeah. And we will fly over the city. Okay, let me try to trim it up. Maybe now it will be fine. Trim. Okay, now it's too much. Now it's not enough. So I would really like it to act like as a cruiser in this way. Okay, we just turn over the VOR. It should be somewhere under us, and also over the waypoint, right, that we have set. And you can see it pretty much here, right? We are over the Honolulu VOR, and it's showing us that it's very close, 1 nautical mile. Okay, we can also take a direct to the next point. Let me just show you in a second. I just want to stabilize it a little bit. So I can just do it like this. So heading and all that. Okay. Let's make sure everything is fine here. I mean, we had our first failure after like 10 minutes, okay? Everything can happen, and we need to be careful here. We don't need this one. anymore. Yeah, it's an interesting question. Do you use it for water landings? Because I think it was not explained anywhere, because I guess water can also go into the engine, right? Yeah, this is interesting. This is something that I will have to research. Okay, here we can take a look at Honolulu. I can use a better camera for this. Yeah, I mean, this looks great. Come on, guys. Amazing. Okay, very nice. Yeah, somehow the view from the outside looks much better than from the inside. I often don't understand it, really. Let's take another look. Come on, the colors are better, and the shading is better, and the contrast is better. I don't get it, right? And when you go inside, it's kind of bleh. Right? So I don't know how it looks, how it works like. Okay, so let's say that we would be outside of our route, like by a lot, right? So how to do a direct to the closest waypoint. So I can show you. It's also possible in this one. And so you go to flight plan, you select the one that you want to fly to. Okay, so let's say that we want to fly to MKK, right? So we just select it here, then click direct. It proposes MKK, right? And I think it's already done, so I didn't have to, yeah. Okay, and let us take a look at the page. Yep, and now this part is like removed, right? And we only have present position to the next one. Okay, and let's talk about approaches, right? Because we will be running like actually an RNAV approach in this one. The interesting thing is that it doesn't support precision approaches, so not ILS. Obviously you can like tune in the ILS here and just normally use it, right? But it won't load the approach to the ILS, right? If it makes sense. So only loads GPS waypoints. So what did I want to show you? Oh, I know, the approach. So you go to the airport page, okay? And you need to select the correct airport. So let's just use our destination airport, which is PHMU, okay? Okay. And I think I can just accept it like this, okay? And it's accepted. But now I'm using this one, and you can see how much information there is, despite it being like, well, retro device. Right, everything is here, including all of the frequencies. Okay, if you can buy fuel. You can also use SIDS and stars in this one, which is just like amazing, and it was like a big surprise for me. That's saying we do want an approach, right? And in this case, with the weather today, we'll be using RNAV 22, right? So 22, and so here, RNAV 22, enter, load and flight plan. Okay, and we have it in our flight plan. I'm not sure if there's not one duplicate here, so let me just see. GG, Java, JSON. Okay, let me just take a look. So this is our approach. So Vela, Pokai, Java, Luana. Okay. I'm not sure about JSON. No, let me just take a look. Either way, it's like one of the most fun experiences, like playing around with this retro stuff here. I think there was something wrong with JSON, but I don't remember what. Just give me a second. Yeah, as you can see. So it seems like Alwana is at the airport, right? But Jason is just a missed approach fix that should be further away. So let me just see if I cannot remove Jason. Okay, maybe because it got crazy because this waypoint is so close to the airport. Because this is like a very complicated offset approach. Okay, so it's not a standard one. So maybe this is why it's not working. Still, let's see. Okay, so I cannot remove Jason. That's saying Luana is at pretty much at the threshold, so this should be fine. Okay. And another web page, another page that we can move to full screen to be on both sides is NAV1, right? So let me just show you. Then you will have this view that you also know from other GPS units, from the probably Garmin 430, I think. Let's go here. Yep. I can see we are just doing our own thing, so let me just go back on track. Right, and here you can see the, well, not this one. Here you can see the symbol of our plane, and now we are moving in the direction of the magenta line, right? That is not yet magenta at this stage. Okay, and with this, I think we can talk about the cruise settings. So let me just show you. We want the amphibian version. Do I have it here? No. So here, engine power settings. And let's say we want normal cruise. Okay, and let's say we are at 4,000 feet. I'm not sure if we are. We can just go up. Where is it? No. We are very low, so let's just change it. Okay, 4,000 feet. I'm not a fan of this autopilot. This is VS, and I guess you go VS up like this. Am I? This is fine. Let's take another look outside, just because I like so much how this one looks. Yeah, really looks great. But the one thing that I'm missing, as I said, is like the passengers, and especially in a plane like this that is actually like a bus, right? So it would be nice to see some people here. Well, maybe at least from the outside. So otherwise, it looks kind of fake. Can I see light now? No, too bright. Yeah, but I have to say the landing at Pearl Harbor was really nice. So this turns this on. Okay? So the general light. Let's see if it's not cold enough, like for some icing. No, it's not. So this shouldn't be a problem. Again, now as we are already like joining our route, we can switch to nav. And like my experience with this unit is that it really catches nicely, right? So this shouldn't be a problem. And just wish that the lights for the instruments would be better. Here, engine, instruments, and radio. Because this is the flat. Yeah, well, let me just check. So we are probably close, yeah, to the altitude set. Yeah, I do remember that I think you could like pop it out, pull it out. Oh no, that there was like a big wheel and a small wheel. Okay, no, I remember. It was a couple of years since I was flying the Caravan last time. Yeah, so let's just move everything up to full, and we will see if we will see anything, right? Oh wow, okay, forgot about it. Yeah, because I did like 1000 vertical speed and I forgot that this has no power at all. Okay, so let's just set power. Yeah, it's rare that you're flying like a plane in the simulator that cannot do like a 1000 feet vertical climb, right? And now for some reason I cannot lower the nose with the trim. Oh, because, okay, now I understand. Okay. So it didn't actually turn off the autopilot despite it stalling, right? Okay, let's just join. Okay, I think this is good enough. We'll just go back to autopilot, to nav, and let's stay where we are. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I will need to remember it, that like with the amphibian version you have to be very, very careful. I mean, it's not like the non-amphibian version is like very agile and fast and stuff. It's a bus, right? But the amphibian version is even worse. That's saying you can land in Pearl Harbor, right? So there's always a benefit here. Okay, so it's catching it in 45 degrees, right? Yeah, I guess. No. Come on, GPS. I told so many good things about you. Why would it be catching it with this angle? Yeah, either way, let's see if it does, right? Okay, now it's getting cold, so we can close those. Okay, let's do some wing views. Yeah, the interesting thing is that there are a lot of those boots, right? So not only here, but let me show you outside. In the wheel version you also have them here, and also on the flaps, which is pretty unique. So no, I think they are here. Yeah, so here I haven't seen it in any other plane. Okay, crazy. Okay, some other views. Okay, so will you capture it? Yeah, okay, so despite the pretty high angle, it does it without a problem. Yeah, not bad. I just love how it looks. Okay guys, so with this, I think we can just jump ahead, and once we will be closer to the approach, and maybe also to the volcano section, because there will be an interesting one, I will just meet you again and will show you the stuff. Okay? See ya. Okay guys, so welcome back. Let me show you some stuff. I have some changes here, so I didn't remember how to change the orientation of this one, because in the prior planes that I was flying I just set it up once and then it was saved, right? So just so you know, this view where the orientation is the same as your bearing, right, is much more practical, and you can get it here, right? So cursor on this side, and here you can just change this setting, right? So before it was north up, and now I'm just changing it like this, okay? And it's here. Also, it's getting pretty cold, so I did turn on the bleed air, right, to get the heating, and the heating here. And you need to watch out for this one. This is here described, like if you have the cabin heating, that for flight, it should be pushed in, right? So I did leave it pushed in, okay? And now it's getting warmer and more warmer, which is nice, okay? And with this, we will slowly set up our descent. I just need to make sure we are not flying into mountain, because here those high volcanoes starting, right? So how to set it all up? Okay, so we will be using a vertical navigation from this one. It's advisory, but still. You click on Alt, okay, you can see VNAV inactive. We are at 7,000 feet, and our approach, let me just show you here, starts at 5,000 feet at Vela and then at Poke, right? So let's just adjust it for 5,000 feet. I think this is this one. Nice, nice, nice. And we won't be at 5,000 feet at a different waypoint. This waypoint was called, what was it? Vela. Okay. Once again, let's click here to use our keyboard, and we have Vela. Okay. It's in the USA. Okay. Yes, this is this one. Okay. And we won't be at this height, let's say 2 nautical miles before Vela. Okay, and we'll be using like a standard descent angle of 3 degrees. Okay, and you can see VNAV is armed. Okay, so let's go back to our great nav5 function, and we can see, let me just see, if VNAV will activate, it will be visible here, but we need to set it up that we want VNAV here. Okay. And we can see VNAV is armed, and once we will be closer, it will tell us how long there's still left until we have to start the descent. So pretty much like in modern GPS units, as you can see, the developer of this one, because it's like a free project, has pretty much introduced everything there was, right? And there's even some additional really cool stuff here. I just need to make sure I will find it. So here you can, for example, calculate what the current wind is based on your true airspeed, right? So we can just play around with the true airspeed. So we are at 7,000, okay? And the temperature at 7,000 is around 10 degrees, okay? Okay, I don't know how this one works. I'm normally using the other one, but just give me a second. So here we have the degrees, so 10 will be somewhere here, and we need okay, so this is the altitude. Okay, so let me just do it. Normally I'm doing it with the other one. Pressure altitude. Oh, come on, I know the one from other black square planes. Just a second. Let me just try to figure it out. Yeah, I would assume this is just the altitude. Like, yeah, it's pressure altitude. Okay, so this is fine. So we are at 7,000 feet. Here's 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I think. Okay, so we need to match 10 degrees Celsius with 7,000 on this thingy here, which I think would be somewhere here. Okay. This is so bad. Okay, so the other one is so much better. So our true airspeed seems to be, is this 170? Yeah, so 175, I guess. Okay, so let's do it. I cannot guarantee that this is correct. This is pretty much the first time that I'm using this wheel. Normally I'm using the standard one that is there like 90% of the black square planes. Okay, so 175. Okay, and it calculates that if our current speed is 175, then the current speed is this one. Yeah, amazing. Okay, we also have some additional calculators, what V angle, vertical angle we will have depending on the planned glide speed. There is also sunrise and sunset for different airports, right? So if you have a long flight, you can see if it will be already after the sunset when you will arrive. Lots and lots of stuff. Okay, now this is concerning. I cannot see anything. Let me just do an outside view. It's not better, but it's nice. Some very nice colors here. Are we not flying into a no? I think the safe altitude for our flight was 6,000, so at 7,000 we should be fine, but you never know. Okay, let me just... And there is like a 200 pages manual for this one, okay? I mean, for this GPS unit, so I can recommend it to you. I was reading it actually 2 times, and sadly, obviously with so many functions, I don't remember anything, but the stuff I remember is like really impressive. Okay. And I think it will be a couple of minutes till we will go to this like volcanic terrain that I wanted to show you. So I guess I can just jump ahead a little bit and we'll see you in a second. Okay? See ya. Bye-bye. Okay guys, and once again we are back. As you can see, some pretty impressive terrain here, and here's like the caldera of this volcano with a lot of details, so you will see it in a second. I also wanted to use this opportunity to talk about like the cruise a little bit, so we are at 8,000. So let's just take a look, right? Normal cruise power, so torque 1,500, so we can just reduce it. We are making haste today, okay, so let's just reduce it to what is expected. And here 1,750, we might have it. Let me just see. 1,700, 1,750, so this is pretty much what is expected. And let's go back here. The fuel flow is in pounds and the true airspeed 150. So let me just see. True airspeed, we have changed our altitude, so we need to move this one to 8. What's the temperature like? Oh, it's suddenly higher now. Okay, so it's around 20. So 20 is here, and this is so bad. Okay, so 20 is here and 8 is here, so it's kind of here. So 150. Oh no, so we are actually faster than we should be. Because is it indicated airspeed or true airspeed? Let me just see. Oh, it's true airspeed, so we are a little bit faster. Okay, and here you can see, I can just turn off the autopilot for a second, and you can also see that we do have the lighting now, right? Because it's slowly getting late, so finally we can enjoy the inside lighting. And also, I figured it out during the flight. At one time, I was thinking it's intercepting the magenta line, I guess in this case, at a very high angle. But actually, it was me that forgot to change the HSI needle, right, to a new course that the GPS was telling me. So it had no influence on how we were flying. It was just like a visual thing, right? I was just talking to you and didn't notice that it wants me to adjust this one. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. Okay, let me try, ouch. Let me try to get a nice view. Yeah, so a lot was happening here. Well, let's maybe try a view that will not kill me. But still, you'll be able to see something. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, there's just something like very adventurous about like float planes. Sadly, as I said, there are no in Hawaii, and like Hawaiian is like strange because of it, because they also don't have like any boats, like no boat services between the islands. And they are mostly doing everything via plane and like between airports, so which is sad. Actually, when I was considering buying the float plane version, I kind of checked out many places in the world where I was thinking it would be a great idea for them to have float planes there, but like they almost never did. And it was the same in Hawaii. Still, we have our float plane, or like, oh yeah. Some strong turbulence here. Why is the turbulence always to the left side? I don't know. maybe I do have like an aileron failure or something. No, I don't know, the yoke is neutral. Either way, let me just see if VNAV is still armed. It's not time yet to descend, right? So I guess I will just see you in a second. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so I just got a VNAV alert and we will be slowly descending. Let me just show you. So here you can see there was a message when we were like 1 minute out, and now it's counting down the minutes to the top of descent. Right? I think we can slowly descend here, so we have this set up. Let's just go down. We have a lot of drag with this one, so I don't expect any problems. We can do an outside view. Yeah. This really looks amazing. Like the lights are for sure great. And it seems like here the landing lights are not blinding you. Let me just see. Yeah, pretty nice. As I said, in the Baron, I'm blinded by them all of the time, so it's nice that they are like far away from you. Okay, so we are descending here, and let's talk about the approach. So it's like an RNF approach, but at the same time, I think, or we might have actually automatic descent functionality, but I don't think so, because I was trying it in the Bonanza yesterday with the KLN, and it was only advisory, right? So I don't think so, but we will see. I mean, sorry, it was not even advisory, right? There was no glide path here. It was just following the waypoints, right? So the vertical navigation part I had to do by myself. Oh yeah, the visibility is actually not that great, but still, we can take a look at all of those lights here. Yeah, looks really nice. You just get the yoke back. Slowly. Guess we can turn those on. Let's just go max propellers, so you'll have a little bit more drag here when descending, and we can also do that descent checklist. Pitot heat, I don't think it will be needed, yeah. Ice protection, no smoking, they were seated the whole time, okay. Propeller lever, we are at 1900, and power reduce. Okay. So let's see what comes next. Oh, okay, so there is something that I wanted to show you. So as you remember, we had this left leaning, right? Not a political one, but one in the plane. And I did spot what it can be. As I said, it's very easy for the fuel to move inside of this one, right? So let me just get the fuel boost. I'm not sure if it's needed because it was not described, but all other planes do it when you play around with those. So let me just close this one. Okay, so that now both engines will take the fuel from the one that has more. Okay, and now it should be fine. We just need to remember to turn it back on for the final approach. Okay, so this might be the explanation, and as I said, this is this very interesting feature that there are many situations where the fuel might relocate between both of those, right? Perfect. Okay, and let's see how the autopilot will make the turn here. Let me just maybe zoom in. We can reduce the speed a little bit. The plane is very quiet. There is like headphone simulation, but I don't really need it because in the air it's super quiet, which is kind of a shame because I like hearing the engine. We are getting too slow because it seems like we're at 5,000 already. Okay, and we need to keep 5,000 till you will be at Pokai. So once again, we are turning over Vela and here Pokai. So I can already tune in the next altitude restriction, 4,300. Okay, I don't think you need to click ARM in this one. Okay, nice. And let's change this one to 243. Sorry. Okay, let's make sure we are not stalling, because once again it's very easy to do in this one. Okay, now we can see 7 miles till Pokai, and Pokai is the next step, right? So let's just read this one to make sure we don't forget anything. Landing lights are on, inertial separator, yes, please. It's a small airport, might be contaminated, at least a little bit. And this is in high idle, full forward, we are, and then flaps. Okay, nice. Let's make sure the rudder is not up, I mean that it is up and not down, and it is, so everything is fine. And obviously once we're at the airport I will turn back the time a little bit, so we will be able to enjoy all of the details of this custom airport. Let's saying I would assume that the night lighting would also be fun for it, so we will also take a look at this. Okay, all works here. Yeah, I'm surprised that I got the first failure on my first flight. Nice. Okay. And we will see how this continues. Okay, still some time out. As I said, there is a pretty big offset here. I think this is the airport, right? And we are flying here. Let's just do an outside view, but make sure we are not stalling. Yeah, very nice. I'm just wondering if this here is really something that we have done during the flight, or maybe like on the tarmac and I haven't noticed, or if it was like a mistake when fueling the plane, right? Because I was changing a lot of stuff quickly, so maybe I did click on the tanks. I'm not sure. Then later I can always like go back to the beginning of the video. And I would at least know it for myself, right? Okay, so 2 nautical miles till Pokai. The next step is tuned in, so we can go to VS mode, and when it will be 1 mile out, we will just descend to the next step. And here you can see this volcano, this highest mountain on Hawaii, right? And here I think you can even see the lights of the observatory. I will for sure go there in one of my videos, but with this one, with this climb speed, no. would be just too long. Okay, so let's go down then. Yeah, and night flying in this one is really nice. I think now that it is so dark, we can even reduce it a little bit to not have this glare. Okay, I guess we have a slightly different curse, 237. This is 24, so 237 is somewhere here. But this is also, once again, only advisory, right? Okay, and we are going to 4,300. Let's just hope that it will be able to keep the selected altitude. And at Kiawe, so the next one in 4 miles, we will start the 3-degree descent, right? So then I will reduce probably to 100, and according to this 100 will be a descent speed of 500 vertical speed. Okay, so I can slowly reduce the speed. Yeah, this looks pretty nicely. Okay, I think I can even get rid of this. Yeah, okay, night lighting is great. I'm not sure how much you can see of this like subtle light changes here on YouTube, but trust me, it looks great. Okay, so now the next one that we will set up is the airport altitude, which is 2,600. So let's set it to 2,700. Let's arm it. And then once we are over Kiave, I will reduce to 100 and go down 500 here. Okay, so this is full, this is full, we have the lights, the passengers are seated, they were the whole time. Okay. I guess maybe I can change the view a little bit so it will be nicer, maybe like this. Because I cannot see much. Okay, now they are kind of close. Okay, so now let's open both of those. Click. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Okay, we are over Kiawe, so let's just descend. And it was supposed to be 500 feet. Okay, nice. And let's try to keep it around 100. Okay, we are gaining speed, so let's go flaps 1. It's so quiet inside, so strange. Okay, we'll just take a look around. Okay, very nice lighting. Let's take a look out of the window. Okay, okay, some detail here, and nothing here, just the mountain. We were a little bit faster, yeah, but this should be still okay. And we still have like to white to red, right? Okay, so the approach speed is around 90-80. From what I could see. In general, Leg Square is never giving out the approach speeds, from what I remember from their manuals. So this is something that I was like Googling. It's always risky with like night landings because you don't see the terrain, and here it like seems to go up. Okay, so this is here, this is here, this is here. Seems like we are fine. Okay, my plane. And let's try to still have to red to green. And let's try to keep the vertical speed that we had. I think we can go gear down, even if it will give us a lot of drag. And we already have a lot.
Down for runway landing.
Great voice. Okay, so I guess we can slowly turn. Still don't want full flaps. Okay, so we are below the glide slope now. Let's just add some power. Okay, back on track. And VREF is around 75. So let's just try to keep it, and let's try to go down. Okay, nice. Whoa, 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 okay, this was not my best landing. Yeah. Okay, but we are there, so let's just go down the runway and I will show you the airport. Yes, I would assume that the float version simply probably needs a higher speed, because 75 was like too much of a vertical speed. Okay, so flaps up. Let's just lean out so we can actually see something. Okay, nice, nice, nice. We can just hold here. Let me just get the parking brake. Let's get the cabin lights. I guess we can just make it brighter so I will be able to see anything here. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. So we don't need the landing lights. We don't need the strobe. I'm always looking at smoke here. It's so confusing. And this can stay on for now. Let's go down to ground idle. We don't want the heating anymore. We can close those. And let me just double check with the list that we have. So water rudder is up, it's up, the flaps are retracted, they are, pitot heat was not used, ice protection no, strobe is off, landing light is off, low idle is here. Let's turn off the radar, let's move it to standby, and inertial separator can stay. Okay, so let's see how it looks on the ground. Yeah, looks nice. So then let's take a look at the airport. Oh, this is off. Where are we going? Okay, we are. So we just needed a lot of power. And I think I can just move this one back to norm. I just needed it for the fuel tanks. Okay, some nice detail here. I'm not entirely sure what the intention here is to with those lines, but we can see another Caravan, and this is actually like a livery that is included. If you have the normal passenger version with the wheels, right, you are getting this Mokulai, I guess, I don't remember anymore. Can I see it now? No, now it's even worse. Okay. So let me just park here, close to my friend. Okay, so it seems like they are the other way around. For pretty small planes, I would assume. Okay. And we'll just hold here. Good. Okay, so let's get the detent here. Nice. And the parking brake. Okay, so shutdown checklist. Parking brake set, avionics off, standby alternator off, fuel boost off, heat should be off, it is off, power lever idle for 1 minute, I guess it is, because I moved it to the detent, so propeller lever goes to feather, and condition to cutoff. Okay. Exterior lights off. So let's take a look here. So distracting, some nav and the beacon is not needed. We can release the passengers. Okay, so battery switch will stay for a second and fuel selectors go to off. Now I need to turn off the battery. So okay, concede. Okay, oxygen was not used. Anti-inertial separator is a mechanical one, so it can be operated without the battery. Okay, and with this, you can go out. Where's the handle? Where are you, handle? Huh? Oh, here. Okay. And we can also come here and release the passengers. Okay, and we can go outside. Yeah, looks really majestic, but I'm not sure why the pilot is here, to be honest, but still fine. Okay, so I guess we can change it to daylight, and I will just show you this nice airport. Okay, this should be nice. Okay, so with space you can run, if you don't know. Mokulela. Okay, so as I said, if you buy the passenger version, you are getting this livery, although a higher resolution, obviously. Okay. Oh, windows. Okay. Okay, security check, lots of stuff, a nice view on the other side. And here we have the volcano and there is this observatory. Okay. Well, let me go back to the plane then. Okay, and this was our... Is this a light? Did I leave a light there? Is it a reflection? I'm not sure. Either way, thank you very much for following the flight. I hope it was interesting. Sorry for the landing. It seems like I need to train a little bit more with the float version. You are really high up. I wasn't expecting it. And see you in future GA flying videos then. Thank you. Bye-bye.